Hello, CQ, the old friends net. This is N4LQ. Steve and Shelby, North Carolina, November 4, Lima, Quebec, calling CQ, the old friends net. We meet here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. and at 4 p.m. on Sundays. Amplitude modulation only is used, and we operate in the round table format. It's a good place to find gear, sell gear, or talk about vintage equipment. So those wishing to check in, please call now.
Good morning, Steve, WA4LLR.
KZ4 Bravo.
WB4ARK.
WB4NKL.
W4KR.
November 4 Alpha Kilo N4 AK.
W4MEC.
This is N4LQ. Here's what I've got so far. I think somebody's having a little trouble with modulation. Anyway, WA4LLR, Dave, John, KZ4B, Buddy WB4NKL, Cliff W4KR, and Glenn N4AK, and Charlie W4MEC. Do we have any more check-ins? Yeah, W4DCS, got you there, Doug. Got the sidebander coming in there, getting to be a regular feature of the old friends net. W4DCS. Anybody else? Oh, there he is. K4GDN. George, got you. Anybody else?
Did you get Stan after NKL?
Sure did. Is anybody else? All right, down the list real quick. LLR, 4B, ARK, NKL, KR, AK, MEC, DCS, and GDN. Checking one more time for check-ins.
4IYQ.
W4W.
That's amazing. All right, N4IYQ, Chuck, and Richard W4WU. Anybody else? All right, I got a pretty good list here this morning. Good morning, everybody. Glad you could make it. Well, George, after you comes Chuck, IYQ, and then Chuck sends it over to Richard, W4WU. Well, it's cold this morning, 31 degrees and sunshiny. Looks like it's going to be a pretty day, but way too cold. I think it's only supposed to get up to 35 or so. So let's go ahead and get started this morning. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ and the net, WA4LLR. Well, good morning. Good number, 12 this morning. And Steve, you're warm. We've got one says 15 and one says 16. So we're about half the temperature you are. And we've got a little dusting of snow, close to half an inch, I guess. Ground's white. Windy, cloudy. A good day to stay in the house. Everybody sounds really good. Band's in good shape. And all I can say is stay warm today. Running the ART-13, and receiving on the R398. So, John, here it comes, KZ4B, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR and the group KZ4B, fine business there, Dave. Conditions seem to be quite good today. Low noise and fairly strong signals. And so far I haven't noticed any QS Baker. We're on the usual T150 driving the Ameritron AL82, receiving on the Powstar PR30, and so nothing strange there. We are getting close to putting a HT40 on the air. Neat little transmitter, Hallicrafters, very user friendly, and it has good audio, just not much output. I think maybe 15 watt carrier on a good day. So over to Buddy, I guess, WB4ARK in the group KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, WB4ARK. Okay, John, you got a very good signal, very quiet this morning. 28 degrees here, and looks like it's going to be a nice day today. Skies, blue skies, no clouds to speak of, so I think we're going to have a nice first of the day anyway. May cloud up later. Supposed to get some rain, I think. Anyhow, got a little work to do today around the house, and let's see, we've got some work to do at Duncan's shop today too. So with that, we'll turn it over to Cliff. WB4NKL, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, WB4NKL. Thank you, buddy. Got 21 degrees here, and we did no snow. We had some rain there yesterday evening, but it quit before the temperature dropped, so didn't get any snow out of it. Good signals all the way around. I'm back in the basement. It's cold. I'm back on the 32 V3 and 75 A4 receiver. And Steve, we were talking about running the tuner, and I looked up these Collins 32 V3 specs. It's not as forgiving as some of the other rigs. It says 26 to 200 ohm resistive. So I don't think I could make it without the help from the Heathkit tuner. But it's got it calmed down here pretty good, so hopefully I'm getting out. Go ahead, Stan. W4KR, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, this is W4KR. Well, good morning, everybody. Yep, 24 degrees here this morning. It's come down a couple of degrees from what it was earlier. Got up about 5 o'clock, and it was 25, 26, but it's dropped a couple. It is clear out. Looks like we're going to have a good day. I don't know. Interestingly, there's no rain in our forecast. Yesterday we were supposed to get rain, but it was a sunny day again. So, and I know the Atlanta area had a lot of rain yesterday over there across the border. Good crowd here this morning. What, we got 13 in this morning. Cliff, well done. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my neighbor, Glenn. Haven't talked in a while. How you doing? And 4AK, W4KR. W4KR in the group and 4AK. Good morning, neighbor, and the rest of the group. Everybody's running about 20 over 9, 15 to 20 over 9. So far, the signals are very good. And it's officially 28 degrees over here at sunset, but it says it feels like it's 23. But I'm in my bedroom shack, so it feels like it's 72. So it's
It's very nice. Buddy, got a comment for you right quick. I don't know if I told you this, but when we first started the X-ray business, I didn't come on board till about 1971, but there were three fellas who were running it: Dick Arnold, Lou Brannan, and Mr. Lee. And I don't know if you know, but Lou Brannan, who was born in 1924, is still alive and doing well in Atlanta. He's 101. Okay, Cliff, WB4NKL, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Charlie, W4MEC, Hendersonville, this is N4AK. Get my act straightened out here.
Okay, Glenn, N4AK and the group, W4MEC. I was pregnant pause there to see what frequency would pop up. Anyway, good morning, fellas, and it's 23 degrees here, and I would say clear skies, little puffy clouds out there. We're on the ART-13 today, receiving on the HQ129X. I sorted out the feed line issue with it. I didn't look over here and see what the SWR is, though. That's about right. Okay, and it was weird. I'm glad I didn't do this, but everything's hooked together with RG223 and BNC connectors, and I had it separated. And when I hooked it back up, I took the antenna lead, the output of the ART-13. I normally went to my selector switch here, a rig select switch, and I hooked it around to the receiver output of the ART-13. So my signal did not go anywhere, and I had the normal coax to the receiver had slipped down and was laying behind it somewhere. So I didn't make the connection. The cable was so long I didn't see I made a big loop. So anyway, maybe I need to put tags on them or something. Anyway, solved that problem, and back on the air. It's a little chilly in the shack. Trying to get my heater to come on, and it won't. So, and I have it's a 220 volt heater, and I have a control box, if you want to call it that. It's the thermostat that runs the relay contactor, and the thermostat swift it back and forth. I didn't hear any click in it, and that's because it's so cold in here. Even with the thermostat at the minimum temperature, it's still saying calling for heat. So, and it has a thermometer in it, and the thermometer is back on the left-hand pin, so it's cold in here. Anyway, so I'm going to try it on a different outlet and see if it's the heater or my contactor. So, and chip the ice away and stand back up and turn it over to W4DCS. Doug, take it away, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, W4MEC, W4DCS. Also on an ART-13 this morning. And we've got 28 degrees here in Winston-Salem. They're talking snow, but I don't think any of it's going to get here. On the earlier net, we were talking about the Verizon outage, and one of the fellows was saying something about he'd heard that it was a satellite that was destroyed. And it's interesting because I have an iPhone, my wife has an iPhone, and both my daughter-in-law and son as well. And the three of them were out. They had the SOS thing on their phone, but mine worked right through the whole thing. So I'm thinking, that it must not be a hardware problem. I'm thinking maybe a data center got hacked, or some disgruntled employee wiped out some data somewhere. I don't know. I don't think they've been forthcoming on what the problem was. Janice came on last evening, and I think a lot of other people are getting their signal back, but interesting thing there. I wonder if anybody knows anything about it. Anyway, good to hear all you guys. Good signals this morning. and it's ART 13 day. George, here it comes. K4GDN, W4DCS.
W4DCS and the old friends, K4GDN. And I'm hoping everybody well. This morning the band seems to be in good shape. There is a little bit of QSB in there, but not enough to take anyone out. Here in Myrtle Beach, we're in the low to mid 40s. It's clear with some clouds. They say that's pretty much where it's going to stay today. They predicted by this weekend we may have some rain mixed in with wet snow, if you can believe that. Global warming strikes again. And but that's what the situation is here. We're running the Viking 2, about 100 watts, receiving on the HRO5A. And we're on the infant halfway. And like I say, everybody's coming in fairly well here this morning. And Charlie, I know what you mean about the wires. The back of my setup looks like a rat's nest. I have to trace cables out every time I change everything. Excuse me. But that's just how it is. It's not all that well organized, but I understand what's where. So with that, like I say, everybody's coming in well here. So with that, I'll pass it on to Chuck, N4IYQ, K4GDN.
Okay, George, K4GDN and the old friends, N4IYQ. Well, good morning all the way around from downtown Telford, where it's 20 degrees. Wind chill is, 7 degrees. Looks like a high of 28 later today. Saw a few flakes during the night. Got up once to let the dogs out. Turned the back deck light on out in the backyard for them, and a flake here or there, but nothing this morning. Miss Tammy was hoping it would snow a bunch and she wouldn't have to work today. That didn't happen. But we're nice and warm down in the shack and enjoying the day. Signals are really, really good. Band's really good shape. Good to hear everyone. Richard, to you, W4WU, N4IYQ.
Okay, Chuck, very good. N4IYQ is W4WU in the group. Well, good morning to everybody. If I'm putting out power, yep, it is. And I'm using the, it's 29 degrees here in Calpin this morning. It looks like it's clear outside. I'm down in the basement, and I've got a window that goes outside, but some things are obstructing it, and I can see sunlight out there, and that's about all I can really see out the basement window. But I'm using the Viking Valiant 2 and the NC300 that I got from George at the luncheon a couple of times ago. And I've also got my SP600JX and the R76 over here from the R274 rather, from Helicrafter. And I switched between them trying to compare them and that sort of thing. That weird modulation you heard Steve at the beginning with me, I was trying a different microphone, and for some reason I got terrible hum out of it. I don't know if I had it plugged all the way down in or not. Same bass, and this is the 104 here. So over to you, Steve, N4LQ, W4WU.
Okay, Richard, W4WU, N4LQ, no problem at all. It's sounding great. I didn't hear any hum. I heard a carrier, and so I'm glad you got it fixed. Do we have anybody else that would like to check in? Call now. All right. Well, that was a good round. I've got to leave at 9 o'clock, right after 9 o'clock, get out of here, take the XYL to the eye doctor to get examined, get ready for cataract removal and replacement. And let's see here. The big project here yesterday was to replace the rig switch. I've got I dug up a B&W 6-position coax switch. I've got it hung vertically on the wall here with the connectors sticking out so I can get to it easy. I've got all 6 positions filled for different transmitters. or different rigs. I've got it set up for 3 pair of rigs here, 4 pair actually. So quite a rat's nest. Anyway, the good news is I found my thermometer sensor. I was out there putting up a infrared floodlight on the front of the house, and I looked down in the mulch, and there it was, the temperature or thermometer sensor for the indoor thermometer. And that is why it was reading so cold. Anyway, I've got it back up to where it's supposed to be now. I had forgotten that I had moved it to the front of the house, and there it laid. So I've got 2 of those now, and they're both reading, well, one's reading 31, the other one's up to 32. So everybody's sounding good this morning, all the ART-13s, and John real fine on the HT40 project. I know there's one guy on, I can't think of his call sign, but he runs it at night on some of the nets, and it always sounds good. And Cliff, okay on the impedance of the network on that 32V. Yeah, Collins is, maybe they're just being more honest. Sounds like they actually measured it, and 200 ohms resistive. Yeah, there you go. Once it gets reactive, then all bets are off, and I bet you Johnson never tested it that way. Let's see. So I guess that's about the main thing going on here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty, fine business, Steve. N4LQ and the net WA4LLR. Well, let's see. John, looking forward to hearing that HT40 that you got waiting in the wings, and 4 ART-13s on today. That's good. Let's see, buddy. Sound like you're going to have a busy day both at home and at your son's shop. And Cliff, you looked out on the snow, didn't get any. That's my favorite kind. And Stan, I think you don't have any either down your way. Glenn, a bedroom shack. That's not a bad idea. I need to consider that. Charlie, sounds like it's parka weather in your station this morning. And yeah, Doug, I was trying to find a news article on the cell outage. Yeah, my wife and I both were out from sometime midday yesterday up until between 8 and 9 last night. I don't think a satellite would affect it. To my knowledge, Verizon doesn't have any cell-type satellites, but of course I could be wrong. I'm wondering if it wasn't a cyber attack or something along those lines. But maybe, well, for some reason, Verizon is very slow to release any causality, so yeah, we'll see. George Viking 2 sounds good. Chuck, good to have you with us from downtown Telford. And Richard the Valiant, too, is doing a good job. Well, let's see. Space weather's pretty calm. Sunspot count 70, solar flux index is 127, and the K is 2.33. And let's see what's happening on a few things on this day in history. On this day in 2009, U.S. Airways Flight 1549 made an emergency landing in the Hudson River. No lives lost, which is a wonderful thing. On this day in 2001, Wikipedia made its debut online. On this day in 1974, Happy Days began to air on ABC. This is kind of an interesting one. On this day in 1919, a storage tank collapsed in Boston, sending more than 2 million gallons of molasses flowing through the city's north end. It became known as the Great Molasses Flood, caused extensive damage, and 21 people perished. On this day in 1870, the donkey became the symbol of the U.S. Democratic Party. It first showed in a cartoon by Thomas Nast. On this day in 1844, the University of Notre Dame was officially chartered, and that's about the size of it for today. So, John, here it comes. KZ4B, WA4LL.
Okay, WA4LLR in the group, KZ4B, fine business day. Good signal as always. I was looking for a very robust, relatively high current rated safety choke for my broadcast transmitter. A safety choke is if your blocking capacitor in the tank circuit should happen to short out, then that puts high voltage on your antenna. And so the idea of the safety choke is it shorts the output of your tank circuit to ground rather than letting it go out on the antenna, and hopefully your overcurrent protection in the transmitter will trip you offline. And I got to talking with Mike Cumbo, ND4S, about that last night, and he noted that none of the smaller transmitters, the 50 and 100 watt transmitters, almost none of them have a safety choke. Only the higher powered stuff like a KW1, a broadcast transmitter, maybe the Johnson 500, I don't know, maybe the what is it, the World Radio 500 watt transmitter. But anyway, and he was wondering, well, why don't the smaller ones have it? And my guess is that smaller transmitters have it. My guess is that the big stuff will kill you instantly, whereas the smaller transmitters may temporarily make you wish you were dead, but it's not going to typically kill somebody. And the only time I ever got bitten when I was a novice, I stuck my hand in a T150, and it felt like I had put my hand on a concrete sidewalk and somebody slapped it with a 2x4. Very unpleasant, but anyway, comments are welcome on that topic, but it looks like the cheaper transmitters, they just don't spend the money. And the other thing is, a lot of the cheaper stuff doesn't have a fuse to protect the transformer, which, doesn't save lives, but, you lose a transformer, and these days it's almost like a heart attack, because it's hard to replace the old stuff. So, my hourglass says that the rope is getting ready to yank. So, over to Buddy. WB4ARK in the group, KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, WB4ARK. Alright, John, well, I'll attack that question first. The choke on the output of the plate tank circuit. My HT32B has one. The 32S1 Collins unit has a 2.5 millihenry. I'm looking at happened to be looking at the schematic when you were talking. And if I'm not mistaken, the ART13 has one also. And it's good to hear 4 ART13s on today. That's it's fantastic. So I don't know where you got your information from or what kind of research you did there, John, but I think you should take another look at the system. Let's see what else we got here. We got another note about what would happen if you were to accidentally hook your output to the receiver in your mess of wiring and put RF back into your receiver and burn up your antenna tuning coils. Before you know it, you might have several gone. Not a good idea. There's so might think about that. Let's see what else we got here. Well, the Verizon issue. I'm not. We have AT&T, but I'm not sure that you always connect to AT&T tower. I was leaving Duncan's shop yesterday about 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock, and I tried to call in and tell her I was on the way home, and it went. As soon as the number dialed, it went straight to voicemail. Never had done that before. So I tried again. Same thing. But I didn't look to see if I had an SOS up there, and those indicators are so small. The power and the signal level, so forth, on that phone, iPhone. So I don't know if there was an SOS up there or not. So we'll let that go. But I think it was one of the problems with the probably through Verizon. It was trying to connect through Verizon. I don't know how that actually works with the cell phone system. So with that, we'll turn it over to Cliff. WB4NKL, WB4ARK.
Yeah, WB4ARK, it's WB4NKL. I had the SOS symbol on mine. I didn't try to make a call on it. They said it was for emergency use, so I don't know if they have some kind of a charge for using it when that's on there or what the deal is. I got the DX100 schematic brought up here. It was on the computer here in front of me. They don't have the choke, and I guess some of these cheaper transmitters, they were probably trying to save a buck, or maybe they used a higher voltage coupling capacitor, and that was their safety line is a better or a higher overrated coupling capacitor. But I think the Collins 32V here, I couldn't get the schematic up. I'm pretty sure it's got one in it. Good deal on the HT40, John. Our buddy W4JCP down in Ringo, Georgia, checks in. He runs one quite a bit. It's got real good audio on his, and he drives an amp with it. And another ham we talked to, KO4CTM over in North Carolina, he runs a HT40 sometimes, so they sound pretty good. Let's see, I'll send it on to Stan, W4KR, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, WB4NKL, W4KR. John, the Viking 500 has one. Viking 500 has one. Don't know about the, don't have the schematics handy. I got it there in the file on the Viking 1 and 2. Don't know about the Ranger. The Collins, yep, the 32V series transmitters have them. However, the KW1 and the kilowatt AM broadcast transmitters, the 20V series, 20V, 20V2, 20V3 do not. They did not put them in the broadcast transmitter. For reasons known only to Collins, I don't know. And the plate voltage would be, if that capacitor failed, the voltage, unmodulated voltage would be about 3300. It'd be a little less on the KW1, about 2700 on that. And if the RF voltage on the fully modulated kilowatt broadcast transmitter, which are really 1100 watt transmitters, not kilowatts, they're 1100. That's to cover losses in the various antenna schemes. That's going to be up. That's going to be up in the 5,000 volt range, 4,500, 5,000 volt range. So, anyway, that's the scoop. What else do I know? Don't know much else. George, good signal. Surprisingly good signal from the coast this morning. Good to hear you. Copying everybody fine. And Glenn, you're rocking and rolling like you should be over here. Cliff, I just a few minutes ago plugged the mystery transmitter in to see how the dial lights and the meter looked like with the screen out of there, and wow, what a difference. It's real easy to read now. So with that, I'm going to turn it on, and yep, back to neighbor. And 4AK, W4KR.
Okay, Stan. W4KR in the group, November 4 Alpha Kilo. And we keep hearing about snow, but we're in an area just below the North Carolina line. And it's always kind of iffy with us when it sweeps across North Carolina. So anyway, I think my grandson would like to see snow so they could have a school day out. And yesterday I didn't notice any outage on my Verizon, but it could have changed over and I didn't recognize it. I did notice that the February QST is already online, so I perused it yesterday. And Dave, that's a molasses flood. Who would have guessed that one? The biggest DC kick I ever got was a 350 volt little power supply, and it was like a mule kicking me, so I've decided I didn't want any more of that. And Richard, good to hear you. I wonder who finally ended up with the WRL 500 transmitter that Joe had. Joe kept after me for mine, and I sold him mine for about $500. I think you came down and helped him pick it up, so I guess hopefully the WRL 500 is still working for somebody. So, Charlie, to you, W4MEC and 4AK.
N4AK in the group, W4MEC. Real good, everybody. Good signals all around. Alright. Uh-oh, what was that? Seems to be still working here. Something in the way. I can't see my SWR meter with the peak reading function. Okay, yeah, kicking around. Well, I didn't hook the antenna to the receiver there, buddy. I hooked the output of the AR-13, looped it around to the output of from the AR-13 to the receiver. So it just made a loop and didn't go anywhere. My receiver cable was laying behind the receiver. I couldn't have done that. But it's interesting that this HQ-129X is the one that belonged to K4, or rather N4YVL Dick. And he did that on 40 meters, and actually, no, 75 meters. No, it was 40. I take it back. I remember now, because the coil was wide spaced. And he burned up that coil pretty good. But when I got in there to fix it, I noticed that it turned it black. You know, charcoal critter burned all the form bar insulation off of it, but it didn't burn the coil in two because it was a pretty good heavy wire. And I think the transmitter he was using was, I'm trying to think of what he had now, what his transmitter was. I think it was a Viking 2 that he was transmitting and fired right into the receiver on 75 meters. And but the receiver was, you know, still working okay. Kind of interesting. Yeah, the outage, my wife was trying to call her sister last night. They talk every night, and she couldn't get through, and she was a little bit worried. And the sister called back on Facebook, and they had a chat there and figured out what was going on with Verizon. And they completed their conversation on Facebook. I don't know how that was routed, to be honest with you. We use U.S. Cellular, which is now owned by T-Mobile. And if you watch any of their ads, they have a particular ad where they say that T-Mobile has X number of satellites, like hundreds, and they note that Verizon has like 4. So I guess a satellite failure might be a little disastrous for Verizon compared to T-Mobile. So I don't know if T-Mobile is piggybacking on Musk's system, his new system, or not, but because they're claiming a lot of satellites, and I didn't know they fired that many up in the air. Let's see, what else I got there? Notes I took. I can't read that one. No, I got it. I got everything. All right. I heard your comment there about John about having a line jerk. So you better stop transmitting. I guess you're watching your egg timer. That's pretty cool. So, let's see. Back over to Doug, W4DCS in the group, W4MC.
Okay, Charlie, fine business. W4MEC, W4DCS. Winston-Salem. Temperature dropping, 28 degrees here. And Glenn, I'm the guy that has your 500C, the old Globe King. Picked it up from Richard. I don't know, it was a year or 2 years ago, maybe. Anyways, yeah, it's still sitting there. I'm sitting here looking at it. It's pretty. I need to put it on the air, and I'll do that one day next week. Last time I used it, it was working fine. It's been a while, so I need to fire that thing up and see what it will do. And yeah, that's the story on that. And I know it used to belong to you because your call sign's in a bunch of the notes and pictures and all that stuff from years ago. Anyways, it's in good hands, my friend. That's probably debatable, but anyways, everybody sounded good this morning. I'm going to go in search of some breakfast. I haven't had a bit. I had some coffee, but I need to find something to eat here. So, George, the Viking 2's doing a good job for you this morning. I've got one sitting here, too. I need to put it on the air, see if it still works. So, over to you, sir. K4GDN, W4DCS, 73, guys.
W4DCS in the groups, K4GDN. Yeah, the Viking 2 seems to be getting out fine, and I know that the Viking 2 nor the Ranger 2, neither one has an RF choke in the output in case of a high voltage blocking capacitor failure. However, all of my commercial linears, the Drake and the Kenwood both have them, and then my homebrew 811, I also had one of that circuit. I didn't remember. I had to pull out the schematic and take a look. Speaking of Verizon, I've been on Verizon now pretty much the whole time, but we are looking to get off of them. I think there's some better deals out there. We'd probably be considering T-Mobile or either Consumer Cellular, see how they go as soon as this contract with Verizon expires that my wife is on. But I didn't notice any outages of them, but in some places the coverage is kind of sparse. But it seems to be okay. But the cost seems to be an issue with that. And the molasses flood, there have been two of them in Boston, and both of them were quite serious. And these failures show up in most of the failure analysis textbooks that I've seen. And this was an area that I was involved with quite a bit when I was still working. I know when I was a partner in a consulting firm, most of our work was failure analysis of one form or another. And the molasses one gets a lot of attention in the textbooks. Hasn't been one in a while now. It has to do with the transition temperature in the steels that they use for the containers. Anyway, everybody seems to be coming in pretty well here this morning. I thought at one point I heard a carrier try to come in, but hadn't heard it again. Maybe kind of drag your feet a little bit when you're picking up there, Chuck. There might be someone in there, but I'm not sure. It was early on. So with that, I'll pass it on to you. In for IYQ and the old friends, K4GDN.
Okay, K4GDN and the group in for IYQ, 5 business, George, good copy, solid all the way around on the Viking 2. Charlie, I will make mention that I don't have it on everyone, but some of the jumpers that run between here, there, and everywhere where I move around on occasion, I take the little plastic tabs that you see on the end of some bread wrappers and take a Sharpie, a fine point Sharpie, and make a little legend what it goes to, and just clip it on around I'm using RG8X, and it works for it. Of course, if you're using the bigger coax, probably would not work. And it was kind of unique yesterday at work. One of the girls, Verizon, was working, and 3 others wasn't, and they were all sitting right there at the same location. So I'm not quite sure. And let's see. The ART-13s do sound great. Would love to have one at some point in time. Just don't know if we'll ever get around to it. And it's bright sunshine here today, so maybe it's going to get quite balmy. But saying it's only going to be 48, it's not going to be much chance of it. And Richard, the Valiant 2 sounds good. Hey guys, I need to get out here and get a few things done. It's certainly good to jump in here during the week. Usually just make it on Sundays. Hope everybody has a blessed day, and we'll look forward to catching you all on the air Sunday. Richard, it's to you. W4W 73 guys in for IYQ, and Steve, thanks for calling in.
Okay, Chuck. Very good. Have a good day. It's W4W in the group. Let's see, several things around here I was making notes on. You're talking about, Charlie, about the cable. First time I ever went over to Jim, K4DEE's shack, to help him out, he was getting all confused as he was doing it that time, and he had I think it's a Kenwood something or another, 8 something, and he was connecting it over to another one, and I said, Jim, hold on just a minute. He was just about to key the mic, and I had been watching what he was doing, and he had the output of one transceiver going into the input of the other transceiver, and just getting ready to key it when I happened to notice that. So we got that straightened out real quick. And Glenn, Doug got the Glow King, and I was glad to get it to him, knowing somebody would use it. I just got so many rigs down here, and the space that I have is fairly limited, so I had to thin out something, and the big racks went right up to Shelby a couple of years ago, I guess it was. Let's see, 2 or 3 other things here. The cable service thing, we're with Spectrum, and I'm thinking about, and we didn't notice the outage at all, and so I'm thinking about switching to T-Mobile, because down here in the basement where my ham shack is, it's pretty much underground, not completely, but pretty much, and I lose signal if I move just an inch or two. I lose signals down here and drop out cell service. And that's our only phone now, is our cell phone. We did away with the landline a couple of years ago, and because of all the junk calls you get on it. And so I'm part of the neighbor's T-Mobile, and talked to my son on it, and we switched back and forth, and T-Mobile is clear as a bell everywhere with no droppage. And so we're thinking about switching to T-Mobile. One final thing is January 17th is the anniversary of the Battle of Cowpens, and living here, and like the 4th generation of us that live right here, and my great-granddad lived up around the battlefield area, and I have 2 cannonballs that were fired supposedly in the Battle of Cowpens. The story goes that they plowed one up in a field when they were cultivating it up there in that area, and the other one they found and dug it out of a tree. So they're about the size of they're solid iron balls, about the size of a tennis ball. And if I can remember it, I'll bring it to the old friends lunch the next time we meet and let everybody look at it. It's a little bit heavy, but it's not bad. But and also January 17th is my oldest grandson's birthday. I think he'll be 23. He's a senior at Wofford right now. And so I told him he's born on a famous day. Famous for 2 reasons, his birthday and the Battle of Cowpens. Let's see, I guess that's about all coming from Cowpens this morning. I'm going to go ahead and say 73 too. I need to go upstairs and get some things done up there as well. So everybody have a good day and a good weekend. And I don't think we're going to get any snow here in Cowpens this morning. Both of us, my wife taught school for 30 years, and me over at the college, and we always look forward to snow and getting up and finding you didn't have to go to work that day. Of course, you had to make it up usually, or we had to take annual leave. But anyway, Steve, back to you. Everybody have a good week. 7-3 Dogs, W4WU.
W4WU, N4LQ. Boy, that was a good round. Lots of good information and topics. And I wish we had more time sometimes. Dave got me thinking about that molasses flood in Boston, and I looked it up, and man, oh man, it says that the energy into a wave of molasses 25 feet high at its peak, moving at 35 miles an hour, and it was enough force to drive steel panels up the burst tank against the girders of the Boston Elevated Railway. A streetcar came off the tracks. Buildings were swept off their foundations and crushed, and several blocks were flooded to a depth of 2 to 3 feet. Horses were caught up in it, and they were thrashing about like flies on flypaper, and eventually succumbed. I think it was 150 injuries, and 21 people lost their life in that mess. That is amazing. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to do a 73 round, but I'm going to go ahead and say 73s. If I don't come back, that's because I've already left. So thanks, everybody, for checking in, and we'll see you again on Sunday at 4 p.m. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
Okay. Okay, Steve, fine business. Hope things go well with your wife's eye appointment. Thanks for calling. Everybody have a great day. 7-3, God bless, and Lord willing, we'll see you on Sunday. KZ4B, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR and the group KZ4B, fine business, Dave. That was a great round, great conditions. Stan, you mentioned that broadcast transmitters did not have a safety choke, but I think actually they do. It just doesn't look like a safety choke. Broadcast transmitters have a solenoid coil on the output that's tapped. That's for feeding output energy from the transmitter to a frequency meter or scope or any other piece of test gear. And that acts as a safety choke. But and my BTA 1R1 has one, and every broadcast transmitter I've seen has that. But I have converted mine to 160 through 10. And I'm not sure if there aren't some resonances in that coil that might cause a problem. And if you have a 2.5 to 3.5 millihenry choke, typically you avoid any problems with resonances. So I dug up I've got a matching national. It's actually was designed as a safety choke that matches my R175A power supply isolation choke. They're on the same kind of a mounting base, and it looks like a little Christmas tree, and it has a very heavy winding to make sure that it trips the breaker. And so I wanted to comment on that. And let's see, what was the other thing? Gee, I can't remember now. Well, listen, thanks for calling the net, Steve, and enjoyed it today. It's good, real good conditions and everything else. So, take it away, buddy. WB4ARK and the group KZ4B, clear butt listening.
KZ4B, WB4ARK. Okay. John. Sounds good. All the signals were quite strong today, and the band was extremely quiet. Well, all of the ART13 sounded good today. And Glenn, I'm sorry I did not comment about Louis Brannon. Yeah, I came to work for S&H in 1966, part-time. I was helping Jim Lee with some work that he was doing, and building some phototimer chassis and so forth, and control units. And then I went to work full-time in 67. So, I knew Louis Brannon. I knew everybody that started the company. Mr. Lee had moved to Atlanta to become secretary and treasurer of the company sometime before I went to work, and so Jim was the manager of the Shawd office, which led me into the X-ray business. Well, if you would comment, if you would give me his phone number, I would like to give him a call and just say hello. And because we're getting on up in age also, and I think we need to touch base with some of our elder folks from time to time. And so if you would do that when your turn comes around, I would appreciate it. So I'll say 73 and pass it on to Cliff. WB4NKL, this is WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, it's WB4NKL, and it band's in good shape, a good copy on everybody. Charlie, you had a little bit of noise in your audio, sounded like something going on with the microphone, but good audio, never did drop out, but just some rustling type noise, sounded like something in the microphone cable or jack or something. But everything else was sounding good. So 73s, thanks for calling it, Steve, if you're still there, and we'll look for everybody there Sunday, I guess. Go ahead, Stan, W4KR, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, W4KR. Okay, Cliff, fine. Cliff, first of all, regarding our phone call, I asked you to look for something. I got that solved. I solved that this morning. It's just the way I had one of the pilot light cables looped around something that it shouldn't have been looped around, and that's why it wasn't long enough and why it wasn't working right. But I got that fixed this morning. And boy, with that screen device out of there, wow, what a difference! What a difference! Anyway, let's see here. That's about it for the morning. Steve, if you're listening, I had Joan and I both went through the cataract situation last spring, and came out the other end. It's turns out to be a pretty well, it's an absolutely painless procedure that doesn't take very long. She'll be surprised. We wish her well. Wonder, Steve, where she's having that done, but we can pick that up Sunday or some other time. With that, good morning, everybody, and Glenn, here it comes, and you are really rocking and rolling here this morning, Glenn. Sometimes we can barely copy each other, but it's not this morning. It's not that way. Take care, 7-3s, everybody. Lord willing, we'll see you Sunday. Then for AK, this is W4KR. Good morning.
Okay, Stan. Yeah, signals are good. There was a little bit of QSB on George at the beach. But, buddy, you got a pen and pencil ready? Over.
I do.
Okay. His telephone number is 770-579-8557. His email is sunnydog, SUNNYDOG, 1924 at gmail.com. How copy, over?
Full copy. Yeah, you've mentioned that you had talked to him before, and it's nice to see that he is still with us. So be nice to give him a call. Over.
Okay, and if he doesn't answer the phone, if he doesn't recognize that number, his mailing address is as follows: 4220 Lower, Lower, Roswell Road. I spell Roswell, ROSWELL, Road, number 214, Marietta, Georgia, 30068, 4128. High copy, over.
Copy that, over.
All right. drop him a letter first, and let him know you'll call. That might work better. Anyway, thanks for doing the net for us this morning, Steve. Everything is fine. And WA7DIA Jack put online that he has CQs free. If you want them, you got to pick them up from Warner Robins, Georgia. And Richard, okay, on your grandson's birthday and the anniversary of the Battle of Cowpens. And it's worth a trip, fellas, to go to Chesney. Richard and I met at a little restaurant at Chesney a couple of years ago. And George, interestingly, they have the BMW three-wheeler there. You know, in Germany, I think Messerschmitt made one, and BMW made that three-wheel vehicle right after World War II. They have one in excellent condition. And 1954-55 Studebaker. Fellas, if you hadn't been to Chesney, go there and buy a hamburger, and it's like a little museum. I assume it's still open. So anyway, sorry to take so long, fellas. W4MEC, N4AK.
Very good, Glenn, N4AK in the group. W4MEC. Yeah, I've been to that restaurant. My wife and I have been. They got a pretty good burger there, and I think he's got a whole bunch of all American 5 radios all around the top shelf in the place there. But if you want to see an interesting movie, I've forgotten the name of Glenn Ford, and I think it's Night of the Hunter. I don't know. Anyway, it's about an airplane crash. But what is one of the interesting things is Wally Cox is in there as a World War II radio man. After the war, he's got a little TV shop. And one of the scenes is Glenn is hunting him down, and he meets him in the TV shop. So all the test equipment that he's got in that TV shop is very interesting there. He's sitting there working on a television. So I think it's Night of the Hunter, but Glenn Ford, airplane movie, put that in Google. Airplane crash movie, and it'll probably come up. 7-3 all, good to hear you all this morning. We'll look for you on Sunday afternoon. You all try and stay warm. Let's see. I can't remember if Doug checked out. I'm turning it to Doug. W4DCS in the group, W4MEC. I guess it's George. Anybody left?
And everybody came in well. This is K4GD, and I'm saying 73, and if nobody comes in, I guess either Steve or Dave will pick it up. K4GD and clear but listing.
Okay, I'm still here. Thanks for checking in, everybody. 73's N4LQ, closing the Old Friends Net.
Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
The W4KR. I wonder where's your wife going to have her stuff done?
Yeah, that's next month in Gastonia.
Oh, okay. I think I mentioned earlier, both Joan and I went through that last spring. I'd be happy to chat with you or her about it if you desire. Anyway, I wish her well. It's a remarkably smooth procedure, but it's scary. Take care. N4LQ W4KR.
Yeah, thanks, Stan. Yeah, I've heard there's not much to it. She has to have both eyes done separately, about a week apart or so. Anyway, yeah, she's getting the full treatment, so she shouldn't need glasses for anything once the procedure's over with. 73 N4LQ.